And people usually like to meal prep either on Mondays or Sundays. And whichever day you like to meal prep, people just find that meal prepping is just very tedious. It's very frustrating. It's very annoying. It's just very time consuming. So today, I'm going to give you 3 tips to make meal prep a lot easier so you stop wasting so much time. You stop just being so frustrated over the entire process and just do it in a very much easier way. And before I get into this, let me know down below which day you spend meal prepping on. I personally do it on Sundays, so I don't have to look forward to it on the weekdays. And I'm curious, which day do you use to meal prep yourself? And once you see these tips, you'll see that it's actually not that difficult once you apply these tips. And the first tip I'm going to recommend to you is once you go to the supermarket, this is very, very simple, is go to the section that sells rotisserie chickens. Rotisserie chickens are a very not well known, I guess, meal prep item because the second I say this to somebody, people look at me like I'm crazy or something. But if you go to the section, you get like let's say 2 rotisserie chickens, right? You bring it home, and on top of that, rotisserie chickens are very cost effective compared to what you get. Tons of protein. It's a great protein, and it just takes almost no time to prepare. But once you get this chicken at home, you can take 2 latex gloves, surgeon's gloves, whatever you want to call it, and just take the meat off the bones while it's hot and don't wait for it to cool off because it's going to be a pain in the ass once you do. Take the meat off, put it in a giant Tupperware, and just put it in the fridge. Why is this so important? But I actually do this myself every single time. The way you can use the meat is just put it into a wrap. You can put it on the side with some vegetables. You can put it on the side with whichever other side you want to put it with. But the meat is already there. It's already cooked. It's delicious, and it takes zero preparation. One of my favorite recipes to make is actually taking all that meat, maybe a day or two later, put it in a giant, not Tupperware, but like a glass container or a iron container. Put it into the oven with a whole bunch of vegetables, a little bit of balsamic glaze, a little bit of seasoning. You throw it in the oven, you mix it up, you take it out. It's like a giant stir fry or just a stir, I guess, because you don't really fry it. But it's delicious and it doesn't take any effort to cook. And when people try to think about meal prep, they get very intimidated because they got to figure this out, they got to figure that out, and they get nowhere because they try to do everything too much. But get some rotisserie chickens, get like 2 or so. It's going to last you for a few days, maybe a week at most. And it's going to be a very, very simple process. And let me know down below if you currently do this yourself. I know talk about this with my clients and some other people as well, but this is a very underrated way to meal prep your food. The second tip to make meal prep a lot easier is you've probably seen me post about this all the time because I use this recipe all the time, and it revolves around a instant pot or a pressure cooker. Well, instant pot is a pressure cooker and a slow cooker in one. If you have one or the other, you're absolutely fine. I use the pressure cooker because it's very simple. It doesn't take any kind of it's a very short process. All you're gonna do is take some raw chicken breast, clean it up, cut it up if you want to. You don't even have to cut it up. Throw it in the Instant Pot or a press or a slow cooker if you have one. Throw a packet of taco seasoning in there, a jar of salsa in there, maybe some chipotle peppers if you want to. I personally love it. You can also throw in a bunch of vegetables, some garlic, some onions if you want to be extra. I don't do that, but I very, very rarely do I do that. You literally close the lid, you put it on for like 10-15 minutes, and make sure you put a little bit of water in there. You close the lid for about 10 to 15 minutes. If you got a pressure cooker, if you got a slow cooker, you could put it in there for 8 hours or so. You set it and forget it, like that commercial. You come back and you got pulled apart chicken that tastes absolutely amazing, and it took you maybe 5 minutes to prepare, and it's amazing. You can use this pull apart chicken in tacos, burritos, wraps, sandwiches, on the side with anything else. And one of my personal favorite ways to use the chicken is with a side of mixed vegetables, because mixed vegetables are very easy. They're just already halfway prepared, and you could probably take some hot pull apart chicken, put it on top of the frozen vegetables, and they will pretty much cook themselves underneath the chicken. It's a very, very easy recipe. It takes no time to cook, and I use it all the time. And if you're gonna try that, type number one down below in the comments so I know that you're actually gonna try this recipe. It's very underrated and it works. It works because it's delicious. It takes no time to prepare or very minimal preparation. And it's just, you can change up the ingredients slightly and make it taste different every time. But the third tip is the most important one. This one will just ease a lot of your frustration because when people look at meal prepping, they tend to look at every single area of meal prep. the protein, the carbs, the vegetables, the rice, the beans, the potatoes, everything, the seasoning. And that to me is already pretty frustrating and intimidating. So, what I would suggest strongly is to, when you look at meal prep, just prep the protein. You don't got to prep the carbs, you don't got to prep the vegetables, just prep the protein in bulk. Why I'm even suggesting this is because carbs are so easy to find. You can literally reach in any direction in your kitchen, and the first thing you're probably going to touch is some carbs, maybe some fruits, maybe some vegetables, maybe some rice, whatever it is. Snacks are all carbs. Carbs are very easy to find. They're typically a lot easier to prepare, but the protein is what takes the most amount of effort, preparation, cooking, and planning. So focus on the protein, because if the hard part or the difficult part is already set in stone, it's prepared, you gotta, it's a lot less frustrating to just put carbs on the side. If you have your chicken prepared, the one that I just mentioned, the rotisserie chicken or the pull apart chicken in an Instapot, all you gotta do is reach in your fridge, grab some frozen vegetables, grab some fresh vegetables, grab some leftover vegetables, throw the potato into the microwave and nuke it for 10 minutes. There's your carbs. If you don't want that, just grab some fruits. There's your carbs. It takes very little time to prepare. Whereas if you didn't prepare your protein first and you prepared your carbs, you you're leaving the hard part for last, and you'll be a lot less likely to get it done, once you got to. So prep your protein first, figure out the carbs later. They're not that easy to figure out. If you have no carb choices, you can probably get some ice cream and get some carbs from there, or some chips or cookies, whatever it is. It's easy. Protein is the hard part, and that's where people get stumbled a lot of the time. So just to recap, make sure you get your rotisserie chickens from the supermarket and just debone them with your gloves on, unless you don't want to use gloves. You can do your shredded chicken inside an Instapot and prep your protein first. And I'm curious, what was your biggest takeaway from this video? I'm only sharing this because it works, and I don't share with you any BS that doesn't. This stuff works. It's delicious. You can change it up to your own liking to make it taste a bit different. But let me know what your biggest takeaway was from this video. I hope this video helps. Make sure you like it, you follow me, you share this video. It helps me out tremendously.